Morning, Barb.
All right, thank you. Okay, this June 10th regular meeting of the Morgantown Utility Board will come to order. The first item of business is approval of the minutes. Everybody read the minutes? Are there any changes, additions, corrections? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of May 13th, 2025 as submitted.
Okay, second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now, do we have anyone from the public? Do we have any letters? Anything to be read? Nothing?
No, nothing.
Okay. New business, of course, the big business today is the budget.
So this evening, we're presenting our budget for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026. These are the budgets for our water utility, our sewer utility, our stormwater utility, and Cheat Lake sewer. Chip will be discussing each of those this evening. This budget does have a increase for our minimum starting base pay to move to $19 an hour. Other than that are normal expenses that we carry of insurance and so forth, but Chip will go through each of those.
All right, hope you all had a chance to look through it. You all have received it, and I think the important part is the 2026 summary page that you got. It's 2 pages. That kind of summarizes everything. And I do have the detail here with me if you want to look, if you have any questions or concerns about it. So this is the last year that we're going to get the 3% increase in revenues that we had for our rate increase a few years back. And this coming year, we do have that 3% for our revenues for the water, sewer, and storm. So that is a huge thing that we get to move forward with this year. If you look at it on the summary, there are some large capital items that we were able to purchase, at least put in the budget for this coming year. And you'll see that we, for our shop, that that we have a need for some new trucks, some excavators, and because of that increase in the way we budgeted things throughout the year, we were able to purchase some dump trucks and all that. Also, we're able to purchase a few other trucks for our wastewater plant and our water plant. They're just smaller, extended cab trucks. So we have about a total of 9, including those 3 that we're able to put into this year. We'll trade those or sell those trucks off. So if you look down through, there are some increases. Our medical insurance is a 3.5% increase, but that is a very small increase because
That is an amazing number.
it is. We $57,000. We moved to Plan C that you all approved a couple months back, and we got everybody signed up, ready to go July 1st. So by doing that, we're only looking at an increase of $57,000 across all 4 utilities, which is great. Everybody seems to be very pleased. We got everything back in, so that's ready. That's ready to roll next month. So we'll be good with that. USI, that's our travelers insurance. We had a 2-year contract with them, and we've had a few claims this past year, and so that will go up 20%. And you'll see that's the liability insurance renewal. That's $118,000. So it does go up quite a bit, but we did have some pretty good losses. And then Mike has mentioned the compression and the study for the wage increase for the minimum. You can see that number. But also within that number, that also includes the 3% increase,
Annual increase.
and increase that we're used to having for the COLA. So that also is in that number. So don't be scared away from that.
So that's a combination of the adjustments we need to make to market and the 3% for the cost of living that we've already approved.
Exactly. Okay. So normally it's like $200 almost $300,000 for just the coal for all of our employees here.
Chip, would you expand on the number of employees just a moment positions we have at Bud?
We have currently right now we have 142 employees here, and with that 3% and then the market, there are. Let me tell you the number.
Well, we have
percentage.
about 150 employees in total when we're fully staffed.
When we're fully staffed.
When we're fully staffed, we have about
Okay.
150 employees, and I think it's important, to understand that that's the number of employees we're talking about here, not just a handful. So everybody's clear on the numbers. So, yes, so the compensation study was performed by our consultant. We brought in an outside consultant to help us review and to look at the shift. We have, right now, we have about a third of our workforce, so that's 50 employees that are eligible for retirement in the next 10 years.
Okay.
And through that 10 years, there are groups that will go 5 years and in between now and 10 years. And, our largest concern here is attracting the best and the brightest. This is certainly not an organization where you're going to come in today and know everything in a year. It takes years for our field staff to learn about the dynamics of the water system, the sewer system, understanding how flow of water, where the flows go to, how to shut off valves in case of an emergency, where those valves are located. Our even seasoned employees, they all have to have maps.
Mm-hmm.
We provide that on a laptop, and they're all looking at maps, but it does take many years. And so our goal here is to attract the best and the brightest to be ready for the future.
And to do that, we have to pay a competitive wage to attract those people. And they do learn on the job.
Yes,
We like to have people come with skill sets, but this is a unique business. Not everybody's going to have the skill sets to be here.
No, not at all. And this is a nationwide struggle.
Yes,
Not only attract, but retain.
right.
Because if we lose 50 to retirement, that's one thing. But if we lose another 50 on top of that, because they get options to go somewhere else that pays better or is more attractive to them, then we need to make sure that we are.
And
doing
we
our
are.
best to keep them.
And we are losing. We've lost. One of our senior engineers has submitted their resignation. We've lost some of our most experienced field staff to other private utilities in the recent months, and we're always competing. And when you have people and they're in an organization, these people are not short-time people that we've lost out in the field. These are people with 10 plus years of experience, or right at almost being vested, months away from being vested in a pension program and taking jobs at other utilities because of the pay differential.
I think it's important also to realize that when water and sewer lines break in the dead of winter, people are expecting someone to show up, many times in very hazardous conditions, to make expeditious repairs. We need to make sure that we have the adequate manpower, many of whom work day and night to complete these projects, that they be there. That's why it's important that we be fully staffed.
Tom, that is an excellent summation. We do have to have that. The public depends on us. We have two major hospital systems. We have the university. We have a number of assisted living home facilities in Monongalia County, as well as nursing homes that depend on us every day of the year. And we have to be out there ready to go. And it's not funny, but the joke is always in the wintertime, but once your coveralls freeze, you'll be all right. You'll warm up. And it is very hard. It's very dangerous. We do expose our employees to very hazardous conditions. We do put them in confined spaces. obviously we purchase all the safety equipment. We have all the gas monitors. We make sure those stay all up to date. But it is a tremendous task to find people that are willing to work in such a dangerous environment.
But we also do a lot of training. And I think one good thing about this organization is you come in, you learn the job, and you have an opportunity in several instances to be promoted.
Yes.
And there aren't too many organizations that do that, so you can put a career together here.
Yes, you can spend a lifetime at MUB
Yeah.
if you choose.
A lot of the employees we interview here always ask if there's room for advancement here, and we always tell them there is, because we always have people retiring or people moving on that opens up a position, and we try to hire within first. It works out real well.
Very secure jobs.
Yeah.
Yes, competitive, and a career opportunity. And again, not too many organizations do have those opportunities anymore.
So with the new positions, that would bring us to 150 or more than 150
Right at
fully staffed.
right at 150.
Okay. But I don't think people understand how big MUB is.
Oh, very large.
And you've seen the growing pains here just in this building where people practically are sitting on top of one another, which comes with the growth that we've had in terms of the number of customers and the employees to service those customers.
Well, anyway, all right. Good information. Personnel costs, personnel increases, wage adjustments. It's all good.
I do want to put a remark that Pam Littall worked on this quite a bit. We worked together on it, and she does a great job here. She helps pull all these numbers throughout the year.
Great. Makes it easy for us.
It does. It does.
All
Do you
right.
have any questions about it or concerns from what you saw? I know that the stormwater you saw, there is a deficit in this year, but we'll just watch our capital improvement jobs, and we'll adjust accordingly for that.
You mentioned the 8 trucks.
Mm-hmm.
What's the lead time on these things now?
Well, on the larger trucks that we order, most of those have to be specialty type vehicles. Those can take almost a year. We're still waiting on trucks that you approved, on a truck that you approved 8 months ago, I think,
Yeah.
to come in to be delivered. It just, there's the economy is bouncing back. The orders are being placed all over the country, and it's a wait. I mean, you have basically one company in West Virginia that upfits trucks. They have a facility in West Virginia down in Hurricane, or if you're a local, Hurricane. Since I'm more local there, it is Hurricane. And then they have this facility in Ohio, but it is a wait to get an upfit.
So we just paste them together and use rubber bands and duct tape and keep it going, right?
Joey got rid of the boneyard, and now the boneyard is full again.
Oh dear.
We had an unfortunate fiscal year when it came to trucks. We had a few purchases that were not budgeted that we were able to do because we had to. Frankly, I mean, we had no other choice. We had to move forward and get some other vehicles, and it's just you do what you have to do. And but we never once have had any issues meeting our objectives and taking care of any capital improvements. It's been a good year. We've had a good fiscal year at MUB. We've got a lot done. We're doing a lot. A lot of projects have been taken care of.
Good. Anybody got any questions? Any further discussion? I know we've had this for a couple of weeks, this information. I trust everybody read it in their spare time. It is a lot of detail, but very thoroughly, very well done, and easy to understand. I do appreciate it.
Certainly appreciate the summary document. And
Yes, I do. I agree.
can't say that it looks from I think from a budget standpoint, revenues were all above and expenses were all below, other than the stormwater projected revenue. I mean, so everything looks very solid.
Yes, very happy. All right, do I have a motion to approve this budget?
I move to approve the water, sewer, Cheat Lake sewer, and stormwater budgets for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026.
Okay, I have a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right, that takes us to old business. No?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes,
Old
it
business.
All right, Cheat Lake wastewater treatment plant.
Hey, it's Cheat Lake. It sounds a little bit like the old proverbial broken record, but we are still grading, and will be. This Kelly Run sedimentation basin has been completed. They are still working on the relocation of Kelly Run. They're working on the UV structure at the existing treatment facility, and they are performing excavation and shoring for the final clarifier as well. We'll say that last week Barbara and I traveled out into the Cheat Lake area, and we did. Barbara, I would defer to her good taste in facade for the new control building, and so that has been decided upon and is being acted upon.
An executive decision.
Someone from the Cheat Lake area was not.
Nope, don't worry.
She
It will look just like the houses that are sitting there.
Drive it.
Not driving. Not driving.
it'll
Be nice.
It
be
is.
very
Very nice.
tastefully done. I would say it'll blend into the community very well.
It's a nice brick.
Good.
And I think it's worth mentioning how much rainfall you've had to endure out there for whatever reasons that Mother Nature deems appropriate, but it does slow things down a little bit. But
Rich, do you
good sight.
have an idea of the total in just the last couple months? I mean, I think in May alone we got half of the rain in May in the last 2 weeks.
Yes. Yeah, your note here says 9.25 inches in that month of May.
I imagine you've well crested 10 given the last
yeah.
10 days.
Even today.
In fact, that new area that was graded and reseeded, there's pockets in there that are still holding water. So I don't know that it's properly terraced, graded down into the street or not. But we'll see how it develops.
It will be. It will be. But it's incredible. I mean, from April the 27th to the 31st, 9.25 inches of rain.
I haven't had to be out watering my plants much.
No, I haven't either. Thank goodness.
Do we have a rain gauge out there?
They do. They keep one on site.
Is that a weather service reporting station?
No. This is for the our inspector.
Okay.
He logs it every day of the weather conditions and
the-
rainfall.
The construction inspector.
Yes, from
okay.
Strand
Okay.
Associates. We have an engineer on site.
But it's exciting. Things are happening. Progress is being made.
Oh, yes.
I think it's going to be really nice.
Along those lines, but given that amount of rain and given our wastewater treatment plants, how have they been doing given the copious amounts of precipitation we've had in the last 6 weeks?
We've been doing very well. We've been enduring the rains. The CSOs are active, of course. They're going to be when you get these kind of downpours. But I don't not aware of any operational issues at all, Rich, or at the plants.
Yeah.
Water consumption down because people don't have the water their plants.
Oh, yeah, the water utility going to do okay? None of us are watering plants yet.
Summer
Well,
is slow.
summer's around the corner. We'll be all right.
It's coming.
Good point.
Just hold on 10 minutes. The
Yeah,
weather's
I know.
going to change.
We're upset about how tall the grass is, but I know 3 weeks from now I won't need to mow it anymore.
Yeah. Okay, good. Good report for that. Westridge, Chaplain Hill Water.
Yes, so the directional drill water line, they're inching closer to getting started. I think now that the wastewater force main has been drilled, I think that the force main up to 84, the old 84 lumber building that we own is all installed now. It's all connected. Rich, have they pressure tested it now? Okay.
It's all done.
All finished, and
Except for restoration.
right. And on the restoration, Corey Jones, our senior engineer, who's our project manager here in the office, he met with representatives of Star City and went over the reclamation, and everything is agreed upon and what MUB's contractor will do and make sure it's all restored back nice and everybody's satisfied. The water tank has been constructed. They are working on a few little things. When Rich and I went up the other day, the ladder had already been installed. The overflow, I think, was in the process of being installed. I think the mixer is in the tank. It's ready. It's there. And they're just started this week on the valve vault and underground piping. So I think we'll be ready to fill the tank and disinfect it probably by the end of this month. The booster station, Mon Power is they've been on site installing the power drop. There's some pieces of equipment that have been delayed. They're on back order, but I think we'll still be okay. We should get those later in the month, and I think we'll still be on schedule. Rich, do you have anything you want to add?
No, I think that's it for the booster station. Mon Power's on site. I think they continue to be the ones that are doing most of the work right now. It's electrical work. So.
Yeah, very, very. Everything's coming along very well on that project.
All right, that takes us to our favorite topic, Upper Pocono Run restoration.
So Mr. Larita, their crew is approaching Hoffman. I think they're maybe there now.
Yes.
I think there's always a lag between writing this report, writing the read ahead for the board, and then the day of the meeting. But they are there. The second crew they have on site, they have completed the installation of the Hoffman Avenue sanitary. They should be complete with should be completed or right at completion now, and they've completed the Willowdale Road restoration. Mr. Larita has contracted with Appalachian Stream Restoration and Reclamation Specialist. They should be. We should know when they're going to be on site soon. Of course, this weather, these rains, there'll be nothing they can do. As Pocono, when it rains, it fills up quick and it's vicious. So they'll have to wait till the weather is permitting to get there. But
unfortunately, we haven't seen any rains like we saw back in 21. Sorry.
Don't forget it.
yeah,
All right.
good job, Eric.
That's my bad. That is 100%.
But so we're excited to see that get started.
Yes, I can't wait till we get that all planted and see how nice that looks.
It's going to look great. It's really going to be nice. And Richard, please jump in.
It's still going to look. It's not going to look very good for a little while.
Well, it takes a while.
If we start the stream restoration down there, and it's a grading exercise, so it's going to be a little messy for a while. But
Getting all the plants.
and they're going to start from the bottom.
Okay.
Work up. Sit down.
Where is the bottom start? What would you consider that?
The bottom is Willowdale Road.
Okay.
Right at that crossing right there.
Yep.
It's right where we had to have the shutdown of the road.
They won't have to do that, obviously. So we'll go in right there, but that's right just up Willowdale's where that street restoration will start.
Yeah.
Okay, Valley View Stormwater Improvement Project.
Yeah, so Anderson Excavating, they've mobilized and started construction. I think they're making very good progress. CZS, they've been great. They've been so cooperative and helpful in keeping the project areas roped off and allowing Anderson to stage their material. if you've seen the big lot down along the road, the main highway there by the stadium, they've got material stored there. They've been wonderful to work with. So we've got a great project moving. They have found some electric lines that were not marked, but that's okay. We've gotten around that.
Shocking.
No.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Luckily, it was not, but it was. They did find them, but we've got some workarounds, and I think they're doing well.
Yes.
Great. Okay, Star City.
Yes, so we had hoped to have an agreement here this evening for the board, but we are still reviewing some information, and so I think that we hope to have that completed in June. So it's all we're still requesting some information and reviewing that.
Okay, good. All right, water treatment, distribution planning, and funding assistance.
Right. So our original plan was to have Scott Stearns here to present his report for the July Board of Directors meeting, but he is unable to come. He's got a conflict that he cannot get out of, and so he's scheduled to come in August.
Okay.
So that puts us a little bit behind schedule, but nothing too much.
Okay, and our office expansion and renovation.
Yeah, so Rich and I, we met with Dave Snyder on May 30th to kickstart the projects again. Dave is going to be here on Friday morning to go over, look at the project area and look at some of those large vac trucks that we have, so he has a better understanding of what he's working around and what the garage has to hold. He wanted to see, and I really like that he asked us about coming up here so he could see those trucks and know exactly what he's working around. So I think he's pretty excited about the project too.
We're going to start having bi-weekly progress meetings starting after our meeting here on Friday. And, so we'll get regular updates and progress. We can start to see progress being made on the design.
Good.
I know as a new pickup truck owner myself, versus some of the old trucks I've had, they've gotten a lot bigger in recent years. Is that the same with things like the vac truck or other equipment that we've been?
Yeah, that last one we bought is much bigger.
And is that something that's going to be taken into account, assuming that we're just going to keep incrementally going up and up in size over the next?
Yeah, that is a great idea because I don't expect them to get smaller.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So we probably want to make it just big enough for our biggest truck.
Yep. Right.
All right. So we've got that to look forward to. Lots of change here. Not enough that we're out in the world making other changes, but we have to deal that
We have a lot going on.
with ourselves. Yeah. Okay. General manager's report.
Yeah, so, it just kind of dovetails right in from the old business, but Holland Avenue, so we have completed the installation of the new water lines, and I think we have connected the last of the water lines and
Yes.
are disinfecting those, and I think we'll be done tomorrow.
I agree. Yes. Tomorrow I think we're finishing up, cleaning up a little bit, but they've all been tied in now. And water's back on everywhere.
So those are brand new lines that will be under the new road that goes in, and those are all HDPE, so that'll last our lifetimes. And so
Good.
not to have to go back in and dig up a new road.
Definitely.
That's the plan.
Okay.
So yeah, the guys, can't say enough. Joey and Tony and all those guys have just done a great job. They get into some of these big jobs. It seems like they take forever, but they get in, they get the work done as quick as they can, and they get out.
I've been really impressed by the progress on that project, the whole Holland Avenue thing. It's a massive undertaking for the city of West Oakland, what they're doing there, and state highways and all that. And I'm absolutely loved, and I think that's gone as well as it absolutely could.
I agree. Yeah. The detour is a little problematic.
Yeah, with the
times.
exception of the detour.
I was talking about the build, the work itself.
I don't know. That was a sightseeing tour that I hadn't taken before, and I learned a lot. wasn't sure where I was going to come
Feel
back,
on it,
but and I think there's a lot of potential there along the river. Some really neat stuff.
The Evansdale sewer lining project. So we did demobilize that crew. We've sent them over to North High Street to work on the construction of a new water line. We want to get ahead of the city's crosswalk project there in that area. And so we are going to have to do, we are going to go ahead, I said have to do, I guess we are going to go ahead and have Insight come down, take a look at what can be done and identify any issues that they would want us to make a repair or something. And so we are going to go ahead and get started with the lining. With the first stages, and then when they finish that water project, they're going to go back over to Evansdale.
Hmm.
So, and I think we had to bring in our driller, correct, Rich, over at North High.
Street. Yeah, so once we got in there, there was a steam tunnel that we had to go under, and when we got there, it was set on rock, and so we couldn't dig rock right underneath that steam tunnel for fear that it would collapse, obviously. So we brought a driller in and we drilled underneath of it and got well below it, so we looked at structures.
What's
Yep.
Dave? What is the crosswalk? Where is that exactly? Do you know?
I don't know the exact location.
That's at Prospect.
At Prospect.
The Prospect that goes right beside the parking garage. That's
Yeah.
Prospect.
Okay.
And then kind of bends and Prospect goes on, but it's the one that comes out right there by
Parking garage. Okay. I wasn't sure where they were putting that. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, so we've been working on, and this is part of our NPDES permit that we have with the West Virginia that's issued by the West Virginia DEP. This is our discharge permit. We have been working on grease traps. Grease is the number one problem that we get into in our sewer collection system. Call them fogs for fats, oils, and grease. That's our number one issue that we encounter when we have a backup, is that we will find grease in the system. We don't seem to see much about wet wipes that other
Thank
systems
goodness.
have, which is good. But we are seeing this increase throughout our system, where this is controlled when restaurants, for instance, they should have grease traps. They should be in good working order. And so we're going to work with the Monongalia County Health Department, ramping up our efforts so we can control and minimize the introduction of those fogs in the sanitary sewer system. The first step is in our increased efforts will be to provide education resources for our customers that have the grease traps. It might be a flyer, an insert in the bill with some recommended best management practices for fog control, and we'll put some information on our website. Social media is always a good way to reach customers as well. And so we're just trying to start that process to make our customers that do have grease traps more aware of what their responsibilities are and keeping everything in good working order, so those fats and oils, they don't overflow into the sewer collection system. MUB staff will be visiting the different restaurants. I think we've identified about 241 locations with restaurants, cafeterias, and I think that the MUB and the health department will make those inspections in some instances together, and we'll be working together with them and just starting out on education and what needs to be done.
Mike, can you say a few words about, you say staff identified 241 locations. Is that data we carry in-house, or do you have to work with the city to get that data, or the health department?
Well,
That's data we got from the health department.
Gotcha.
Yep, directly from the health department.
Is the health department the one that certifies inspects officially the?
Yeah, so they're involved whenever a business is open or it transitions into a restaurant. They know where the grease traps are.
But they don't inspect them on a regular basis.
They inspect them whenever they inspect the site. They look at the grease traps.
So that's part of their annual biannual inspection.
I'm not sure about what the frequency is for them.
The other thing is, are there some points in the wastewater system where these plots, whatever they
Was it grease birds?
fat birds,
Fat
are
birds, yes.
pretty predominant? And if so, if we can identify exactly where those are, we can go upstream to see what restaurants are there that maybe pinpoint where the big problem is.
Yes, we do have some. We have that data. We do some regular routine flushing on some lines, and
But you know where these.
yes,
Major-
we do know where some of the problems originate from.
I know we'll see every once in a while. See a story out of New York, LA, or Boston or something. And that's the massive pipe that's got hundreds of feet worth of good luck.
Yeah.
Through those
I think
things.
one was in the most famous was in London.
Yes, I saw that.
And
The video was very interesting.
yeah.
I'm sure the smell was much more interesting.
Yes. So they've but we really want to thank the Monongalia County Health Department. They've been terrific to work with. They've been very cooperative with the staff, and Beth Fox, one of our senior engineers, she has really taken the lead on this and put together a lot of good information for us.
Now, these grease traps, when they get filled, what are the restaurants supposed to do with the excess? They have to contract with an outside service that
Yes.
comes in and picks it up?
Yes, they come in and they typically pump that out and take it to a facility. We do not take it
No.
in Morgantown. I believe Bridgeport does. I think they take that, and so
Recycle.
inspections also would include us like looking at a manifest to see that they had the company come in and they did have it cleaned out and so forth.
What I know we're focusing on commercial. Do we have these issues in residential areas too? Because I know it's quite easy to pour the wrong thing down your drain.
I don't know. It's very predominant. I don't really hear much about that, to be frank. But
It's a concern, which is why I think the educational piece of it is good for everyone.
I think so too. I totally agree.
We had a gathering a little over a month ago at the house, and I overdid something, and part of it was dumped out, and it wasn't just water; it was butter. And at the end of the night, it was like I don't think the disposal was working. I got down, the disposal is working, and I quickly realized that is something in the trap was pretty solid, and I got it out and it looked like a core of a pineapple, but it was just butter that had recongealed there. Unfortunately, didn't make it to the pipes. Stuck right there in the sink.
I like that.
Very good story.
I
One of those bottlenecks.
like that. That's
Yeah.
good.
We were looking out.
Yeah.
I'm always hyped about
There's a
that.
lot of butter there, buddy.
Man, I'll
Yeah.
tell
It was.
My God.
It was a big thing, grits. Yeah.
you.
Yeah, it's a big,
So now
Gotta
when
love
we go to his house for dinner, we can expect a lot of good butter.
yeah.
All right.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, it was
Um,
something. It's a good way to top off an evening.
Yes.
So,
No, but I do agree. Some education, even putting flyers in all of the customers, is
Well, I
very helpful.
It'd be a good one for the newspapers.
Talk about traps.
Well,
butter,
that doesn't say editor.
butter in your trap. Okay.
So I do have one other report this evening. So as you know, we've been working with residents of Morgan Run Road for a water line extension, and I am very pleased to report that we have received notice from the West Virginia DEP that their project will be eligible for abandoned mine lands and reclamation grant funding.
Oh, That's fantastic.
Yeah, good news.
This is just fantastic for the residents out there. That how this is all going to come together. And Rich, would you like to talk more about that?
Sure.
And I'm going to jump in here in a minute too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to say that it's not 100% covered. So it'll be a portion of the project, but I think a significant portion. And so right now we're working, we put a cost estimate together, not based on that. And so now, with what they've told us would be covered, we're going through and redoing our cost estimates so that we can understand what would be covered and what would still be remaining, so that we can talk intelligently to the folks out there. And probably the next step would be, once we have those cost estimates done, would be to get all those residents together and go over that and let them know what's still in front of us and get commitments from them that we want to move forward. But it's what a awesome thing for those people is, we haven't done the cost estimates, but we're talking about over half of a very significant project.
Incredible.
How many customers do you think?
I think there are
There were 27 that originally signed up.
There might be about 30 households in here.
They've stated before that folks are getting water hauled in because of the issues they've been having out there.
Yeah, it's significant expense to them. I heard upwards of hundreds of dollars a month, if not $500 a month, just to haul water out to them. So,
Imagine. I can't.
big burden.
As we were going through this process, and it is a process, it's been a couple years, almost 2 years we've been working on this and going back and forth, and DEP has been sending information up to Washington, D.C., up to the Office of Surface Mining and Reclamation and Enforcement, because they administer these funds. We were able to get in touch with Senator Shelley Capito and her staff, and they've been a tremendous help. Delegate Dave McCormick, it's in his district out there. He has been great to contact DEP on a regular basis. Dave kind of grew up behind me down in Logan County, so I know it's like the Logan County Mafia,
Right.
isn't it? But he's worked with he's been keeping in contact with me about his efforts working with DEP. It's you can't say enough about those folks down at DEP. I mean, the AML guys that work on this thing, they've gone back and forth and getting all that information. I mean, they were up here getting water samples, doing all the research, because this is only applies to pre-1977 mining operations, and I think these go back into the 1920s. Something like that. I mean, then they dug through the records, and I mean, these are. I might not be correct on the 1920s, but I'm thinking that's around the era of this work. And so it's just been a tremendous team effort, and we just can't thank everybody enough, and all the residents out there. They've put their concerns, and they've contacted their members of the legislature, and it's a big deal.
If I could, our staff has worked, put in a lot of hours as well. Corey Jones and Dave Bragg have been out there. They've done public meetings with those folks, and they've talked, countless number of times with those residents and put a lot of effort into this. And so I'm happy for them that a project is going to come out of this.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job. Corey and Dave have.
And it's great that their work is rewarded.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah, we are very fortunate. We've got a great team across no matter what department you're looking at. Be it engineering or finance, administration, our treatment facilities. We had, I think, two or three young men just get their Class 3 licenses.
Yeah,
water
we did.
terrific.
for the
Yes.
water treatment plant
Wow.
just in the last couple of weeks.
See, there's one of
That's-
those promotional
that's right.
opportunities.
It certainly is. I mean, it's an opportunity to grow. You know, I've said this before, but you know, we want to attract the best and the brightest here. That's who you want operating your water treatment
Yes,
plant.
definitely.
And these young folks, they've done a tremendous job getting through the process of testing and getting their license.
And they're all from Logan County only.
Yeah. I think we sneak a few Raleigh County ones in there on
we'll be
occasion.
back
Oh, well. We'll take anybody from West Virginia that we can.
as long as they pronounce it hurricane.
Hurricane.
Yeah.
As they can pronounce
Yeah,
it.
and I think you know the governor was very wise in supporting the legislation where you know people with licenses can come across state lines. Now, not sure how well that's all going to work in the water and wastewater business yet. I think they're still working through some of those details, but it's a great first step anyway.
Are there standardized tests amongst the other states on certification for these different classes of operators?
The tests I don't think are standardized in the same typical verbiage, but the content is EPA dictates the content. And so, you know, from our perspective, an operator, you know, that's licensed in Pennsylvania with the highest certification would have the same skill sets and knowledge as anyone with Class 4 here in West Virginia.
And these people are needed all over the United States right now.
Yes, it's not just, the shortage is just not here. It's everywhere in the country.
Okay.
Everybody is, and our approach has been, we have recruited people and we have trained them. We've sent them to school. When they show promise and we move them forward, we move them up because it's very difficult. You know, someone with a license, like a Class 4 license, they're very much part of their community. They're not very apt to just say, well, I'm going to leave my hometown and go to Morgantown, West Virginia. That's just not a reality in this industry because most of the time they've been in their community for a long time. They may have kids in school and they're just not going to up and move miles away.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, glad to hear we have 3 new minted people. Good, great. All right. That brings us to board member issues or discussions or topics or whatever you would like. What is your pleasure?
In our last meeting, there was a discussion or question about the Flegel Dam recreational facilities or trails and such. And so I have a little update from the city that I'd like to share.
Great.
That the trail contractor is on site currently, and there's about 1 mile trail built so far. The main loop trail is 3 miles in length. And then the total trail, I guess the main is 3 miles, but the total trail will be 5 miles in all. They're on the west side, and then they're going to move to the east side. And they're assessing, there were supposed to be several bridge type crossings on where the tailwater comes in to the main dam. And so they're working with, the city's working with the contractor to see what are the other options beyond the standard bridge to reduce costs that we could figure out how to move the trail across the water areas. So I'm not sure what that looks like, but they're still on target to have a completion by the end of this year. So that should happen, and the city will put a concrete pad in the parking area for portable toilets, and so they will put those in place at some point as we near the completion of the trails. And the city would be happy to take folks from up on a tour at some point if we're interested in kind of seeing where they are with the work on the trails and meet with them. So that's the update.
Terrific.
If you have any questions, happy to bring them back and try and find answers for those.
Well, Dave, you've really added a lot of value to this board, representing the city and bringing us this information and doing the same for us. So I want to be sure we don't overlook that contribution you made. I really appreciate it. It's been very helpful. So thank you.
Thank you. It's certainly been my pleasure being a part of this board. And See where it goes in the future.
All right. And I want to thank Chip and his staff for putting that beautiful budget together. The big, beautiful budget.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I know it takes hours and a lot of hand-wringing and looking at data and making sure you get the right points in the right places. But very well done. And I like David, and I think everybody else. Nice to have a summary. It helps us through it very quickly. So thank you. Anybody else? No? All right. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I will move to convene an executive session of the Board of Directors under the provisions of West Virginia Code, Section 6-9A, 429 and 12, to discuss personnel matters, advanced construction planning, as well as other confidential matters which are exempt from disclosure under the West Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and further move to adjourn the meeting at the conclusion of the executive session.
All right.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Unanimous. We'll take a 5-10 minute break. Let's come back at